Hi guys, welcome to my skills presentation for week 4. This week I looked at cinemagraphs and my current skill level was a 2 out of 10. So in terms of my aims and objectives, I wanted to understand the uses of cinemagraphs and look at different examples just to give myself a bit of inspiration of what I could create. I then wanted to comprehend what software is used to create cinemagraphs and how to edit them. I know you can use Adobe After Effects and Photoshop to create cinemagraphs, but for this week I focused solely on Premiere Pro because I just enjoy it a bit more. I then wanted to reflect on the week and understand what went well and what I could improve, and just kind of understanding in my head what success means to me. I doubt myself and my work quite a lot, so I think this is quite important just to reflect on what I've created this week and to see if, in my head, personally, it's successful. In terms of research, I wanted to comprehend what cinemagraphs are and how they're done. I wasn't sure if it was just multiple photos you had to take or if it's like one long video or some short videos, so my research definitely helped with this. In terms of practical, I wandered around Bath for the weekend and just used my knowledge in my research to notice certain scenarios in which cinemagraphs would work and just basically applied my research to the real world. I then did some editing on Premiere Pro, which I'll show you guys in a minute with some time lapses, and then did a reflection period at the end, which I kind of talked about my what I believe success is to me, and just what went well and what didn't go well. So, what are cinemagraphs? So, I hear quite a lot of people say this, but they're basically like a Harry Potter like moving image. The cinemagraphs they're just basically a magical hybrid of photography and video. The motion highlights a few seconds from the video, blending it seamlessly into the still photo. So, they contain subtle motion that plays in a short, never ending loop while the rest of the image remains still. So, the first cinemagraphs created was by Jamie Beck and Kevin Berg in early 2011. Now, these are essentially GIFs, but they are more intended for better file formats, so usually 4K or even up to 6K. I think this is why the combination of static and motion is a very popular tool for digital marketing. Brands and organizations are creating cinemagraphs for all different types of marketing content, such as digital advertisements, websites, landing pages, blogs, museums and galleries, and just big billboards as well. This is important for me because I'm personally interested in digital marketing. So it's not only a great skill to have for my grad project, but I can apply this to the world of work for me personally as well. So in terms of practical, I used these two videos at first. This one here was only 5 minutes long, and I managed to explain the basics of masking precisely enough for me to create a cinemagraph. And then this one gave me a bit of inspiration of what I could create and what makes a good cinemagraph. So in this one, they explain that water can create a good cinemagraph because it's very seamless and when doing like an endless loop, as well as like a flag as well, which I've got some footage of. So in terms of practical, I put the video in the timeline and then copied it above using Alt plus drag, which was a new kind of keyboard thing that I had learned. I didn't know this before. You then need to select the frame you want to keep frozen, right click, and then click frame hold. This will freeze the image. You then use the pencil to draw around the object you want to keep in motion while everything around it is frozen. At first, this was completely inverted and the flag was frozen, which I didn't want. So then I googled and found out that you just click the inverted button here, which will then freeze everything around it except for the flag. This footage that I captured here, it didn't really work as well because I didn't realise that your camera needed to be very stabilised. So as you can see, the flag completely disappears. So just going on to the next part, shaky footage was one thing that multiple YouTube tutorials never actually mentioned. It was more about the editing and not enough about the actual practical. So I did with this footage that I captured, I actually filmed it before I did any research at all. So there was room for mistakes and I was able to build upon these. I did use the warp stabilizer, which worked a little bit, but it still wasn't great footage. As you can see on this one, you can still see everything shaking, as well as this one as well. It looks quite good, but down here I could see quite a lot of issues with it being shaky. So in terms of refining, this was just basically a morph cutting and using a looping playback button. So I made a cut directly in the middle of the footage, as you can see in this, and dragged and dropped the first section next to the second section. This would make the beginning and end basically just seamless. In the middle, I dropped a morph cut effect to make the cut essentially disappear. And looking at just some more key research and videos that I used, there was a quote from one in this video that basically said, even the steadiest of hands can jeopardize the final results. So this was when I kind of resorted to using a tripod for these two images here, cinemagraph, sorry, that worked really, really well. So you can see the water flowing there, and then the flame as well on this one worked really well as well. To summarise it all up, I now understand the basics of how to create a cinemagraph on Premiere Pro, and I definitely underestimated the pre-production side of cinemagraphs, as it takes a lot more careful planning than I originally thought. In terms of success, it definitely differs between person to person, but the fact I've managed to achieve my desired visions and planned goals is what's really important to me. Next time, I'm going to be looking at the basics of audition, and here are my references.